Well, the real estate market continues to be completely unhinged. Buyers are feeling massive frustration. Agents are feeling burnt out, and people are saying, when is this going to end? I bet you if you're in your marketplace, you're saying there's stuff selling that doesn't seem to make any sense at all. So in today's episode, in this market update, we're going to try and make sense of it from a macro level. So if you're a buyer, a seller, a real estate agent, an investor that is in the marketplace, trying to navigate, try to wonder, do I just sell it all and move to Costa Rica? Hopefully I can provide some value and a top-down view of what's happening. If you're following the news and headlines, you are already 60 to 90 days behind what I'm going to be giving you today, because we are boots on the ground on a daily basis. And the data we have is typically faster than the stuff that has to go through the actual sales cycle that you get through the news. So we're going to talk about average price point, inventory levels, different classifications of real estate. If it's your first time to this channel, I am Justin Conoco. I own Prime Real Estate. Yes, I'm a real estate agent. No, I don't care if you work with me or not. We do enough business that we're going to be okay. I just want to give you the best advice possible on this channel. If you are looking to relocate to southwestern Ontario, you are going to want to hit that subscription button. Make sure you get notification, because we actually drop off-market inventory here all the time. Buyers and sellers just like you are finding success off this channel. I've met so many amazing people through YouTube. We are tripling down this year. We're bringing you the best neighborhoods and the best information. So just let us know what you want to see, and we'll go find that information for you. So first off, why don't I share my screen and we can actually start going through the actual stats from a high level, because that's what you came in here for. So I'll dig right into it. So the stat that you see here is the London St. Thomas region. Now keep in mind, the London St. Thomas region, why don't we have a little bit of fun here? I'm going to share it on Google Earth and I'll show you what region we're talking about. So the London St. Thomas region actually covers this entire territory. So you're going to find a lot of properties listed on the L-Star board, is what it's called, that actually are in these different pockets. London being the heart of it. St. Thomas is a thriving and booming market. If you've watched a couple of these market updates, we've been talking about how in Talbotville, Amazon is actually building a brand new warehouse facility, driving a lot of growth in this pocket and this pocket as well. We have multiple listings on the market right now. I'm dealing with 2 offers on one in this beautiful little pocket of Lyndhurst right now. And I got a bunch of off markets coming. A lot of investors like St. Thomas and looking at this area as well, because it's kind of like London, but cheaper and less regulations from the rental licensing perspective. And there's some good opportunities there. 2 amazing beach towns, Port Stanley, Grand Bend, abut our market. Both are thriving. I said I'd talk about the recreational market. Again, those are markets that are what you would consider unhinged, but in my eyes have been very sleepy markets for a long time. You're looking at 25 to 30 grand for a teardown on the lakefront up in Grand Bend. And we actually just got a wicked deal for one of our investors for a property that they purchased in Port Stanley, and it's hedging just over the $1 million in terms of an ARV. I think those prices are going to increase dramatically over the next couple of years. And there's all kinds of developments happening in these secondary and tertiary towns. So that should be an indication of where to invest in the future. Elmer, I know Shedden, I know Port Stanley, I know Dutton is popping off. Betty Kalai and Lindsay have big ties to Dutton. We have a couple fun announcements later on in this episode that tie directly into these markets. We also do quite a bit of business along the coast and up in that Sarnia area, so we will cover that in a little bit, but let's go back to the statistics. Let me slide this out. So the average market stats here in London, average price point, sales price, $793,222. That is up 30.4% from the same time last year. 679 new listings, down 3.4, 529 sales. So less sales than new listings. That's an interesting change. So we've had an increased sales activity. And then half a month of inventory. A couple market updates ago, we were at 0.2. It's down last year, 0.7 months, but it's actually up from the beginning of this year, an average 7 days on market. That's not a real number. That just means that they held offers for 7 days and accepted an offer on the 7th day. St. Thomas, that one market I told you, I wanted to pull some more direct statistics to show you the difference. Average price point, almost $100,000 cheaper, $689, $687. 50 new listings, 46 sales, 0.3 months of inventory. So an even hotter market than London right now, and 7 days on market. Again, I'm holding offers for 7 days. It is what it is. Elgin County would be this whole pocket, and the other areas kind of around the St. Thomas Port Stanley area. Let me go back here. That is 849 or 859 is the average price point. 21 new listings, 18 sales activities, 0.9 months of inventory. So almost a full month of inventory in 15 days on market. So interesting stats there. Let me go back here. Sarnia Lambton area, 539, 377, 109 new listings, 79 sales, and 0.9 months of inventory, 8 days on market. So a very hot market, but a great price point. So I would say be very, very curious about what happens in this little pocket over the next 6 to 7 months. Good buying opportunity. London is now Kitchener. Sarnia is now becoming London. St. Thomas is like already pretty much London, but that's high level. Now let's dig back into the statistics. I'm going to go into the info sparks, and this is all of ITSO, so the entire board. So this would actually cover quite a few other markets other than the ones I just mentioned. I just thought it was an interesting graph. This is the maximum amount that it's been tracked on ITSO. 2009, the average price point 216, average price point 825. New listings, you're noticing a trend. Oh, look at this, February. Oh, look at this, December. You see big drops. People wondering about spikes. May. And the reason this is important is I'm just showing you trends over like a 10 plus year period. You're also noticing home for sales. Sorry, I was trying to catch up with the speed that I'm doing this blazing fast market update. Homes for sales, you're going to notice a trend down. Sales, you're going to notice a trend up and down. You're also going to notice days on market crouching down. Month supply, this is a big one. So let me actually go back to 1 year. So this is just a good indicator right now of if you're looking at January to today, the month supply was actually 0.6. So month supply, I just wanted to show you really quickly the 1 year trend from January 2021, 0.6. So last January was 0.6 months of inventory, and we were at 0.3 in December of 2021. It's hedging up a little bit, meaning there's more inventory coming to market, but essentially that would mean almost, if half a month's inventory left, means that if we stopped listing houses tomorrow, in about 15 days, we would run out of houses to sell. A balanced market is about 4 months of inventory. So that should tell you the seller's market that we're in. And you could also start digging into percentage of list price and above list price. So about 113% above list price value and average price per square foot. I wish I would have bought everything in 2021 at 403 because now we're at 526. I do think some of that has to do with the supply chain issues and some of the things we're dealing with on the building side of things. We will talk new development in a moment, but important statistics to pay attention to. So now let's dig into a couple different asset classes. So multifamily inventory in the London St. Thomas board, there's actually only 25 active multifamily listings. That is the same across the board. There seems to be a lack of good investment properties and multifamily properties, but that is also an inventory thing across the board. There were 34 multifamily sales in the last 35 days, and the average price point was $786. We're noticing offer counts are adjusting right now too. So when we talk about like boots on the ground information you're getting today, this is where the rubber meets the road. So about a month ago, we were telling people, you're going to expect 20, 30 showings on your property. There's going to be 20 offers on offer date. About 2 weeks ago, we were in a Canadian real estate networking lounge, and we were talking about how all of a sudden on offer date, 2 and 3 offers were showing up or no offers were showing up. Do you remember last year when there was a trend in around May where offers just started dropping off? And I bet you saw somebody in your neighborhood not get offers on offer date and then relist their property for like $200,000 more. Everybody thought they were nuts. They either had to wait it out to get their actual price or they ended up getting a lot less. That is what we're seeing right now. There's these big fluctuations in showing activity and price points. No two sales are created equal. So be very aware that you can't just say, well, my neighbor in Oak Ridge sold his house for $400,000 over asking price, and you're selling a $3 million property and think that you're going to achieve the same thing by underpricing. Some agents that are just trying to underprice and let the market set the price, you might as well put a sign on your front lawn yourself and try and sell your house, because if that's the advice they're giving you, they're not worth their salt. They need to be able to tell you how to price effectively, market effectively, and negotiate the best deal, knowing what's actually happening in the marketplace, and it is moving at a breakneck speed. To give you a little bit of encouragement, though, I think we're going to see these ebbs and flows in the market, just like we did last year. Watch for Canada Day long weekend. And May 2-4, you're going to see a decline in the amount of buyers and showings because Canadians want to get out of their house. So don't list your property necessarily right before that weekend, or have a strategy to at least get the interest from the week before that and the week after to achieve the highest price point. Again, make sure you're always consulting a professional. I'm just trying to tell you some of the things that we're seeing on the inside. We are still seeing loose cannon bids being a factor. Be very, very careful with this, because I am seeing agents that are not properly qualifying their purchasers, or are they even explaining it to the listing agents? Understanding what an appraisal gap is, and that even though you're pre-approved for $1 million, if the bank tells you that that property is only worth 900 and you write an offer for $1 million, you have to come up with an extra $100,000. You got to make sure you're working with a power team, a good mortgage broker, agent, and a lawyer to make sure you have all your bases covered. And if you're a seller, make sure your agent knows what they're doing. Another huge misnomer in this industry is all agents are created alike. just like doctors, there are some that were at the top of their class, and then some were at the bottom. Some are more worried about creating their next TikTok than they are at actually getting good at their skill set. So make sure you're digging in deep with whoever you're hiring to handle these transactions, because they are huge transactions. Let's talk commercial asset class activities. We have seen a big uptick in activity across the board, a lot of retail developments going up. We have seen a little bit of a decline in the office medical space, but the really cool thing is good local owners doing interesting operations and being hands-on are getting more traction than maybe the old school large outfits that would just expect the doctors to come show up. So getting creative, finding ways to reach out and connect with the right doctors and connect them with the right developers, local developers, in my eyes, is the best approach. Industrial is on absolute fire all across Ontario. We can dig into that in another commercial update with the commercial team at Prime, but we do a lot of commercial. We do a lot of leasing. We do a lot of multifamily acquisitions, industrial land acquisition. So if you know anybody selling land or industrial buildings or any of that stuff, call us right away. On the new development front, same thing. We are seeing a lot of people that have land to be developed in London, realizing that it's going to take a much longer period of time to get some of those lands approved. And they're starting to go to the tertiary and secondary markets to find land that could be good potential building sites. So we are always on the hunt for those as well too. Our agricultural division has been keeping a close eye on what's happening in the farming communities. My in-laws have very, very deep ties to that community. We've sold a lot of farmland in our past, and it's been incredible to watch the prices change. Yeah, I remember when 15 to 17,000 an acre was a lot. Now I'm seeing deals over $30,000 an acre, depending on the land and how the setup is. It's been pretty wild to see the progression, and when will it stop? Nobody knows, but we are running out of land. Fun fact, southwestern Ontario has more Class A agricultural land than almost anywhere in the world. Ontario announced its goal to build 1.5 million homes over the next 10 years. That is great news to hear, but whenever something comes out of a politician's mouth, I don't necessarily believe it until I see a concrete plan in place. A lot of times they're trying to buy votes and they're using hot button topics, and real estate happens to fit that niche right now. So good to know, and I'd be very curious how they fix that. They've been blaming the housing market and real estate agents and everything else for years. Meanwhile, builders are trying to do developments in areas that should be developed. Sometimes those developments are being voted down because the political process is broken, only to go to OMB, get overturned because it fits the official plan, costed the developer 50 to 100K, but it took 3 years longer than it should have. And who does that hurt? The consumer. But it's nice to see Ontario actually addressing the supply issue rather than just blaming other people and NIMBYism just hurting the actual end consumer. This month at Prime, we've had a couple really fun announcements. Roger Horvath, the flying realtor, he flies Orange Air Ambulance for the hospital, has joined the team. He's killing it in the commercial space, specializes in leasing and investment properties on the commercial side. And we've been having a lot of fun. Nick Vergeer joined us as well. Agricultural background, an investor and interested in the commercial space as well too. We have a couple other bench members coming that we are very, very excited about. Again, Prime isn't like any other real estate brokerage you've ever met. We don't recruit. We actually look to partner with the right talent and provide them a platform. We're not even really a real estate team. Couple fun facts. There's no real teams in real estate, just like there's no such thing as full service real estate. It comes down to the individual offerings that the different platforms may or may not provide. So we are excited for some announcements there. If you didn't know, we actually own a production company as well. And the production company is doing some incredible stuff with local businesses in the community. We are absolutely fired up. There's some awesome local operators that we're looking to highlight in the near future. So look for some of those new announcements. Make sure you're following the Prime Media Productions team as well. Our featured community member this month is a guy who's near and dear to my heart, Tommy Caldwell, the in-home chef. I've known Tommy for almost 20 years. One of the kindest hearted people I've ever met. He works so hard. They have Prime Peony Events, which is a wedding venue down in Dutton, but he is an incredible chef. He is like a gastronomical wizard. This guy will come to your house. He'll cater large events and do all kinds of things for you. If you haven't signed up for our Prime monthly newsletter, this is where you get a lot of our off-market deal access to people like Tommy. He is one of our Prime preferred vendors as well too. So make sure that you're signed up for that newsletter. The link is in the description below so you can get access to that. Let's talk about some off-market and coming soon properties. Actually, we just had a Grand Bend home listed for $1,079,000 in Huron Woods by Vanessa Frankovic. Beautiful property that actually Osable goes all the way down to the Pine Ridge Provincial Park, 7 kilometers, and has a canoe launch, has tennis courts. Awesome spot to be. And Woodfield, we have a duplex coming up, Century Investment Property in historic Woodfield, and that is going to be coming up for $650,000. We also have a premium bungalow backing onto Ravine in Port Stanley. That's going to be $1.1 million. We also have a very good investment opportunity coming down the pipeline, and we're talking around the $500,000 range, which is very impressive. So if you're looking to invest in London, you want some turnkey options, let us know. And we have a couple exclusive luxury homes in those premier neighborhoods. Prime has an exclusive listing process where if you're a seller that wants to sell their house but not put a sign up outside, we have a stable of properties and pre-qualified, very premium buyers, and we were essentially matchmakers. The role of a real estate's changing. If all I can do is plug you into an MLS system, I'm out of a job in 5 years. So we offer a lot more on the consulting side, the matchmaking side, and we try and make it a fun process. Nobody wants to be sold, but they love shopping with friends. If this is the first time you watch one of our market updates, welcome to the channel. This is where you find all the best properties in southwestern Ontario. I'm your host, Justin Conoco, just one of the many faces of Prime. And we profile neighborhoods, give you access to off-market deals and all the fun stuff. So hit that subscription button. The lights are going out. It's time for me to go home, and I'll see you on the next market update. Drop a comment and tell me your takeaway, what you think about the market, what you think is going to happen, if you got any value from this episode. Take care for now.